All right, welcome to Fumble Fever. We are continuing our way too early predictions on the for all the Power Five conference teams. We did the Big 12 last week, and we've already done the Pac-12. Going in geographical order, we're continuing now with the Big 10. We're going to start in the Big 10 East and start in alphabetical order with Indiana.
I'll let you take over first.
Okay, sure. For Indiana, I not expecting major things, of course, not usually ever expecting a lot from Indiana, but I do have some breaking news that has came out over the last week about Indiana. They have a redshirt sophomore tied in, Peyton Hendershot. He has been arrested in a charge with domestic violence. I believe he has one felony case and two misdemeanor cases with that. And of course, through that, he has been suspended by his head coach. That suspension is pending, and we will let you guys know more when we find out. Now, as far as what that means for Indiana, of course, in Big Ten country, tight ends mean a lot more than they do in the rest of the country. And last year, this guy was pretty big for Indiana, for the Hoosiers. He put up numbers of 54 receptions to the tune of 622 yards, and he was named to the Big Ten third team, all Big Ten team.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty major stuff for Indiana, and a pretty major loss for them. Plus, on top of that, they didn't do very well recruiting wise, and with that, I'm going to have to give them an overall record of 5-7 and a conference record of 2-7.
It's kind of weird. We're starting off about the same as we did the last couple weeks.
I think it's going to get progressively separate. I can assure you that.
I got 5-7 for them too, possibly 6-6. Maybe I have them losing to Illinois, but maybe that's like a flip of a coin game. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it could be.
So they can get to 6-6, and they're nationally, like you said, they didn't do too well in the recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
They're number 58 nationally, number 12 in the
Out of
Big 12,
14.
in the Big Ten. And their best recruit was Rashawn Williams, which that's a pretty good. They got a pretty good receiver coming in.
Yeah.
He's 350 overall, 59th on in his position. Should help out his team.
Yeah,
At least a little bit.
I think so. I actually noted that on my paper too.
He should get some, at least in rotation.
Yeah, I think he should get in there and help right away. He's a 4-star receiver. And interesting theme through the Big Ten. I can go ahead and throw that out there. Almost every single Big Ten team, their best recruit was a wide receiver. So that's.
Wide receiver is pretty deep this year.
I've noticed that. Yeah, there was a ton of receivers coming out of high school this year. So
that are ranked pretty highly.
Yeah. So that should be interesting to see. But that kind of plays to how the game has changed and evolved over the years. The receiver position has become much more needed, and even outside of the Big Ten, the tight end positions have started to evolve a little bit more. It kind of shows you where everything is headed. Speaking of teams that are headed in different directions, let's go ahead and transition over to Maryland.
I see them having a pretty good year. The offense was okay last year.
Yeah.
Overall 8-4, pretty good year for them. 5-3 in the conference. Nationally, they were 31st in recruiting, and 6th in the Big Ten. Their best recruit is a wide receiver, of course.
Yeah.
He was number 27 overall and number 4 in his position, so you know he's going to come in right away and make an impact, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. 5-star wide receiver at that, so that's a really good pickup for the Terrapins. If you can think back with me on this, the trip down memory lane, I think you remember how we started our season on this show talking very highly of Maryland last year, and it went way downhill, real quick, and I don't want to get too overconfident again and be disappointed like an idiot again.
Really 8-4 is not really too confident. That's about an average team.
Here's the thing, though. Remember, so last year, right, we were on the same exact page, and now we're on the same page again because
Really?
I have them at 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
So that is good. 5-4 overall in the conference is what I have them, and they do have that receiver coming in, and they also have another receiver and a running back, a receiver that's transferring over from Michigan, and a running back transferring over from Virginia Tech. So there'll be a couple of new added pieces to their offense to help out their quarterback Justin Jackson. So he's shown a little bit of a potential. Of course, he was part of the reason we thought last year they were going to do so phenomenally, and even he didn't really play out. But maybe with some new offensive weapons around him, he can pick that up and become a little bit of a better team. And at 8-4, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad, especially by Maryland standards.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Any kind of bowl game really is pretty good, I think, for them.
Fair enough.
For right now.
Fair enough.
Because later on, I'm pretty sure they'll want to be better than 6-6. But
they've been kind of living in the shadow of mediocrity ever since they were in the ACC. I mean, this is kind of Maryland football. What it is, but hey, basketball doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be getting to them in a few weeks.
Yeah. Moving on to Michigan, who do you got?
Okay, so Michigan, I think I make no buts about this every single year. I don't like Jim Harbaugh, and I really don't like Michigan. And I don't mean personally, like I just hate Michigan.
Do you think he's going to keep his job?
I'm hoping if they're smart, and after the year I think they're going to have this year, that he loses his job. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with Michigan, because I think it's going to
This
get
might surprise you
worse.
What I had to say, but
This probably is going to surprise me, because you're probably going to tell me they're going to do really well. So I don't know. First of all, I'm not sure if this is going to make a big impact or not, but they had to cancel their annual spring trip that they usually take, because they go overseas somewhere usually. Mm-hmm. In fear of the coronavirus, they decided to stay at home.
Makes sense.
That makes perfect sense to me. So that's not a bad decision. I'm not knocking that at all. But I just don't know how that's going to affect team chemistry, whatever. And then
I'm pretty sure they don't really do much overseas. They probably just go over there and hang out.
Oh yeah, they do. But it's a team bonding thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just one of those things. Like if that's your culture, if that's your thing. If you're doing that every year, hey, if you have an off year, you never know. One of those little things could affect you in some way. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't think it'll affect much, but we'll see what happens. And then another thing that's disappointing me is that they're struggling still to find a starting quarterback, even though they have some guys that could be really good, including Dylan McCaffrey. And a guy by the name of Joe Milton, who at one time Adam Schefter had said could end up being the number 1 overall draft pick. So really high praises from a very, very knowledgeable guy in the NFL. Now, they got a lot of 4-star talent. So I'm saying a lot of positive things. Most of that 4-star talent, however, was on defense. They need help on offense. They didn't really get hardly any help on offense outside of their quarterback, and if I know Jim Harbaugh, he'll probably make the wrong choice, whichever choice that is at quarterback. He'll probably pick the guy who's going to end up doing worse. But if those of you who aren't aware, Dylan McCaffrey, of course, the
Christian McCaffrey's
brother. So the McCaffrey family in general has a long line of athletes, just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people obviously excited about him just because of his name. But this Joe Milton guy really could be pretty great as well. We'll have to see how that pans out. And who Joe Harbaugh picks at quarterback will define their entire season. But it's a season that I think is going to end at 4-8 overall and 2-7 in the conference.
I'll say what I got for last, okay? I'll skip right to the recruiting. Nationally, they're number 14. And in the Big Ten, number 2. Best recruit is a wide receiver, of course. Why not?
Yeah, of course, in the Big Ten.
AJ Henning. He's number 101 overall, and 18 at his position. He's a 4.4 speed guy, so he's super quick. So he's going to be on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I have him starting off really slow at 2-2.
Yeah.
So people are going to be calling for his job, right?
Yeah. Like me.
And then he's going to finish 7-1. So overall, it'll be 9-3, and I have them beating Ohio State.
Whoa. That would save it. That's the
saving
deal.
his job right
That's
there.
the deal. They could still potentially have a 9-3 season, but lose to Ohio State, and that's gonna save it right there.
9-3 season, and the win at Ohio State saves his job.
Okay. Hey, it was called on the show today, February 26, 2020. Dylan says Michigan will get that win over Ohio State and save Jim Harbaugh's job.
They won't go to the championship, but they'll save his job though.
Yeah, they'll still save his
Yeah.
job. I mean, hey,
For another
Ohio
year.
State, congratulations.
First time in 6 tries, right?
6 times the charm. Like
Seven
times the charm. So, but all right, well, we'll see how that pans out for sure. I don't know. I mean, on paper, I'm going to say on paper, I would not disagree with you. It looks great for Michigan on paper. But on paper, a lot of years it looks great for Michigan, so we'll see. But if we stay in the state, we'll head over to Michigan State, and I'll throw it back to you for them.
I got them at 6-6 and 4-5 in the conference, which is, I think, to be expected pretty much.
So still my notes.
Which I think is pretty much expected for what's all happened to Michigan State so far with losing their coach. Not too long ago, actually, like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, it was really recent.
I mean, they had a decent recruiting year this year, 43 and number 10 in the Big Ten, but most of that was recruited by
Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, Mark D'Antonio, which I'm kind of figuring that most of the recruits are like, what is that guy doing leaving so late in the recruiting season?
Yeah, that was kind of odd.
I know. I'd be mad. I don't want to transfer.
Yeah.
I would.
I know. I feel that 100%.
Yeah, I'd definitely transfer.
You'd be out. Okay.
No, maybe not. I'd have to see what happens.
I'd be out.
Would you?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. One of the best recruits coming in is a 3-star outside linebacker.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a change up. He's 437th overall.
I thought he was going to tell me he's 437 pounds.
And number 28 at his position.
Okay.
And here's a little fun fact. His dad, Eric Snow, who played for Michigan State, I don't know how many years ago, but he played for Michigan State in basketball.
Nice.
He was a standout, and he played 13 seasons in the NBA.
Oh, well, I do always enjoy your fun little facts because they are always interesting tidbits of information. So, as you said, and as I kind of alluded to when I said that you stole my notes, that we are right back on the same page again. So 3 out of the first 4 teams in the Big Ten, same record. And I find it interesting how often we actually do this, considering we don't deliberate at all before the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, very interesting that we end up on the same page. But I have them, as you said, 6-6, 4-5 in the conference as well. It's just I'm reading an article on their new head coach, Mel Tucker, who's coming in. He said in a press conference that it was time for a culture change.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know what time for a culture change means. It's kind of rebuilding season for Michigan State. Everything is just getting redone. He's gonna redo everything. Redo the whole culture. That'll go all the way down to recruiting as he recruits the guys that he wants coming up in the next seasons. So with that, you can't expect a whole lot for the Spartans. You just can't. So if they do anything better than 6-6, that's a pretty decent year considering.
Mm-hmm.
So I think me and you both actually have the pretty positively high considering everything that's going on.
Or low, which you're going to count it as.
I'll say high.
Okay,
I'll call it high because of what I expect that you should expect from Michigan State. Low for what you would expect in the past, especially a team that's only 3 or 4 years removed from a college football playoff appearance. I mean, so and then again, it's just the fact that you had a legend in Mark D'Antonio. He was the winningest coach in program history. I mean, that's some pretty big shoes to fill. So we'll see how Mel Tucker is able to do in his first year. And I'd say honestly, first year 6-6, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all.
Moving on to Ryan Day in Ohio State.
Okay,
Who you got?
Okay, well, I have another really talented Buckeyes team, as always. They're here lately. They're never recruiting. They're reloading.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth in the nation overall. First, of course, in the Big Ten. And they have 2 5-star wide receivers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They have a whole slew of 4-star guys, and they just extended Ryan Day's contract through the 2026 season. So they have a lot of faith in Ryan Day. Plus, Ohio State feeling very bitter off of that college football playoff loss to Clemson just a few months ago. And so they have a lot to look forward to, a lot yet still to prove. They, of course, are going to be replacing 3 starters on the defensive line, one of those guys being the phenomenal Chase Young, who is expected to go number 2 overall in the NFL draft. But
Right behind Joe Burrow.
Yeah, right behind Joe Burrow.
My guy.
Your guy, yeah. That is your guy. I'll give you that. And for many good reasons, of course.
My favorite quarterback in a long time.
Yeah, well, I
think he has the best personality, at least.
Really? I don't see that.
Oh, you don't?
I don't really care for his personality that much.
Yeah, you gotta be confident.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the confidence. No. I just don't really see one.
Oh, you don't? Really?
We are a complete opposite. Honestly, when I see him, it's just, he's just always kind of.
Yeah, that's a personality. Yeah.
It's, I suppose it is what you make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, speaking of great quarterbacks, Ohio State still has Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be playing his senior season, probably putting up another Heisman campaign. So a whole lot to look forward to for Ohio State. Unfortunately, I might not have them. Well, actually, I'm pretty high. 11-1. I was gonna say not as good as maybe undefeated, of course, and just getting right in there. The 11-1 overall. 8-1 in the conference. So because I obviously have them beating Oregon, the team I have them losing to is Penn State, who we'll end up doing next. But first, let's see how you have Ohio State.
As I said before, I have them losing to Michigan, but I have them 11-1.
That's so disappointing to be 11-0 and then lose to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna make major.
Still division champions though, so still a win. And you pretty much stole my thunder for the rest of it. You already said all the Chase Young, Julian Fleming, the number 3 wide receiver coming in nationally and number 1 overall. Huge guy, just coming out of high school, 6'2", 199.
Yeah,
still lots of room to grow. But yeah, 11-1.
If I could be fair to you, I never said his name, so you got to say his name for everybody. So that helps you out, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just another showcase of how we're again on the same page, pretty much, and same record again, just losing to different teams. But I mean, honestly, obviously, I'm gonna joke around and continue to joke around a lot, but that's a good thing if we continue to deliberate on the same page. We're sharing some of the same views, and that's honestly a good thing.
The next one I'm sensing we don't have nowhere close.
Oh, I know it's nowhere close. Okay, but it is Penn State next, and like I said, I have Penn State beating Ohio State. Doesn't mean I have them winning other games. I guess we'll find out. Who do you have?
I got Penn State going 9-3.
Okay, that's not bad.
But losing to Ohio State, of course.
Yeah.
Since my last pick.
Yeah.
Of course. Which they did pretty good. They did pretty good in recruiting. 15th overall, and number 3 in the Big Ten. 9-3 is a pretty good season, I think. For Penn State.
Yeah.
They won't make it to the conference championship, but still 9-3 is pretty good. They should make it to a BCS bowl, or not a BCS bowl, a New Year's Six bowl.
I know me and you still living in that BCS because that's what we're used to growing up with. So I totally understand that misconception because I call it BCS all the time. But 9-3's, yeah, like you said, it's not bad. I actually was glancing over at your notes and saw that you have them losing 3 in a row, right in the middle of their schedule.
Yeah, Iowa and Ohio State. That's a big 3 right there.
Who's the other one?
Michigan.
That's
another big
Michigan, a bye week, Iowa, and then Ohio State. I mean, that's a bad 4-week stretch of losing 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's 3 tough teams you got to play.
Yeah, so Michigan in my eyes, but we'll see how that pans out. I mean, we'll probably argue about that the rest of the season. And more than likely, one's going to be very right and one's going to be very wrong the way that we pick this thing, unless they fall dead in the center.
Yeah, like 11 or 10 wins.
That's not dead in the center.
Yeah, it is. 9. You got 12.
What? No, I was talking about Michigan.
Oh.
This is why we're friends. So, but as far as Penn State goes,
Yeah.
I'll go on Penn State now. Their recruiting wise, I think they have done very, very well this year. They've got tight ends galore. They just got 3 or 4 of those guys coming in that are all top tier tight ends that they're going to actually utilize a lot more than most teams will. Because again, Big Ten tight ends, you got to have those. And then they have a ton of starters coming back as well. So almost the same team as you saw last year in many categories. And overall, 12th in the nation. That's great for Penn State. Very, very, very good. And I think 3rd right in the Big Ten, because you said Michigan was 2nd.
Yep.
So,
I think James Franklin is a good head coach.
I think he's a heck of a head coach.
But I don't think he's good enough to get over the hump. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that, because I think he gets over the hump this year.
You think so?
This is another thing we differed on. Michigan, you've got Michigan doing very well. I've got Penn State. Listen, I'm going to call the date because we're calling shots again. February 26, 2020, I'm saying that Penn State goes 12-0.
Okay.
Everybody heard that, right? 12-0, obviously 9-0 in the conference because they didn't lose a game. But 12-0, they end up in the Big Ten championship game, of course, and I'll tell you how that fares in the next video. But really, really thinking big things for Penn State here. I think this is their time to shine. The best chance that they're going to have in a while, so we'll see how it goes. You hate to be talking about a team that you think is going to do so good and then look down to see who's next and unfortunately last on our list, and Rutgers.
Rutgers?
Yeah. And you know what? With Rutgers, I'll go ahead and start. Like I said, not going to look good. Greg Schiano, new head coach. Hopefully he can turn things around. He used to be at Rutgers a while back. He's bringing in some other people with him that also used to be at Rutgers a while back. One of those guys is Joe Susan. He's had over 40 years of experience in football. The downside, though, is that his biggest team that he was ever with is Memphis. He most recently was with Bucknell. Not a lot of big schools, and obviously, like I said, used to be with Rutgers back in the day. But overall, recruiting-wise, not good for Rutgers. Not ever really good for Rutgers.
I got a little fun fact though. They got a
Go ahead.
4-star transfer, Peyton Powell. He's a quarterback coming in from Baylor. I think he should be able to compete for the starting job.
Yeah, it is Rutgers. So
But anyways, it doesn't really affect my record for him.
no,
That's just a little fun fact.
no, it's
Well,
not
1-11.
It's not going to affect my 1-11.
Yeah.
I have better. I have worse than I do. I have 2-10 and 1-8 in the conference overall. I have squeaking out a win in the middle of the season against Illinois. So, yeah, typical Rutgers, I guess. We'll conclude our first show for the Big Ten. We'll have the other 7 teams, the teams that are in the Big Ten West, coming up in the next show, so make sure you stay tuned for that, because we'll also talk about who we're going to have playing in the Big Ten championship game, because FYI, that could have some major implications on the college football playoff rankings, as it typically does every year. So stay tuned for that. Continue to follow us on Twitter at Fumble Fever, and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hit the bell and comment down below what your favorite food is. I don't know what your favorite color is.
Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it with you. And a quick plug, by the way, March is coming up. You got to play March Madness. You need to play the Tournament Challenge on ESPN. Find us, Fumble Fever, on Tournament Challenge on ESPN. Fumble Fever is the group name, and Fumble Fever is the password. So how easy is that? All you have to do is sign up, play, subscribe to us on YouTube. First of all, make sure you do that. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Play our bracket, win the bracket, you win $50. That's up in the ante from our last show. You don't want to miss out, because we got real winners. We're really ready to hand out this money. It's $50 cash money in your hand, and you could be $50 richer in the early April. Yeah, early April. So just in time for Easter. So go ahead and make sure you remember that, because there's a very quick turnaround once the brackets are released. So get in, play. We can't wait to see you there and compete with you guys. And we thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.